Fire crews were really busy last night, to say the least. South Metro Fire responded to a residential fire on South Teller Court in Jefferson. They say it was likely caused by improperly discarded fireworks and are reminding people to please soak your used fireworks in a bucket of water overnight before you throw them away.
And a family is safe this morning after a house fire in Aurora. It happened last night on South Cathy Way. South Metro Fire Rescue says it started on an exterior deck and then worked its way inside the home. They still don't know what caused it. Really, it's the last thing that we want to see on the 4th of July. A fire burned right up to homes in Aurora. Yeah, firefighters are not positive how it started exactly, but they say plenty of evidence for fireworks. 90's reporter Mark Salinger talked to firefighters who say they've never dealt with a situation quite like this.
As fire crews continue their cleanup, they're looking for what caused this fire. All they have to do is look above for a potential answer.
It wasn't normal. Not like I've had the last few 4th of Julys.
There are certain things in life that are all too predictable.
4th of July is absolutely every emergency responder's nightmare. We knew this was possible. We hoped it wouldn't happen, but here we are.
Monday night went the way Eric Hurst had feared.
It's pretty crazy right now.
I just didn't want everything to get on fire, especially the other houses that are around us.
Michaela Boakes.
No, it's scary.
Saw the flames from her home.
Then I ran out to the front and said, "Fire, fire!"
It's clear even this brush fire that broke out at dusk near Himalaya Street wasn't enough to stop the fireworks in Aurora.
Even when the fire was going on, there were still fireworks going on around.
As South Metro wraps up on the ground.
Super loud, super distracting.
There's little they can do about the threat that continues above.
Fact of the matter is our emergency responders are so task saturated with actual emergencies like this fire, there's simply no one available to go tell people to stop right now.
On a night of celebration, not even the firefighters could have predicted the fireworks would outlast the flames.
And I've never witnessed what I'm seeing right now on a fire scene.
In Aurora, I'm Mark Salinger, 9 News.
Gosh, scary moments there. Again, firefighters have not pinpointed the cause, but they say the sheer number of illegal fireworks going on in the neighborhood makes it likely that was the cause. South Metro brought in extra crews trained to deal with wildfires to help Sunday and Monday, and they definitely needed them.
Now to another scary situation, this time happening at a home in Fort Collins last night. Firefighters say 7 people were hurt when a porch collapsed. One of them actually went to the hospital. Paramedics checked out the others, say they didn't need any extra help. It does look like the porch was not too far off the ground, and firefighters say what happened on the porch did not impact the structure of the home, thank goodness.
It is devastating that a celebration of America was ripped apart by our uniquely American plague.
Sadly, 6 people are dead and 38 others are injured after a gunman on a rooftop opened fire on a 4th of July parade in a Chicago suburb. This morning, a 22-year-old man is now in custody. Police are calling him a person of interest, and we don't know exactly why this happened or why at that parade. This morning, lawn chairs and strollers sit abandoned on the sidewalk where those celebrations were cut short by violence yesterday. Police say the parade was about 3/4 of the way through when this shooting started. They believe the shooter climbed up to the roof of a business and fired down at the crowd. People watching the parade say at first they thought they were hearing fireworks or some other part of the show, and then people started running. Several other cities in the Chicago area canceled their 4th of July celebrations yesterday because of that shooting. The nonprofit Gun Violence Archive counted this as the 311th mass shooting in the U.S. so far this year.
Schools are frequent targets. The people tasked with protecting them are gathering this week at the National Conference for School Resource Officers in Aurora. Amid headlines of a failed response in America's most recent school shooting and calls to get police officers out of schools, Steve Sager asked the head of the group how the job has changed in the last few years.
As headlines of America's latest mass shooting broke, a group of officers in Aurora heard from someone who's been there. Lieutenant Brian Murphy shot 15 times as the first responding officer to the Sikh temple shooting in Milwaukee in 2012.
But if you're walking into pow, 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 pow.
He's training these school resource officers on use of force.
You're hearing a small context of the training.
DJ Sheff is the president of the National Association of School Resource Officers, in town this week for their annual conference. In town at a tough time for school resource officers, with calls to remove them from schools and the recent botched response to a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas.
There's a lot of media, there's some social media, there will be some groups that will, without good knowledge, without good information, just based off of emotions, may choose to say we shouldn't have a police officer.
Sheff acknowledges that some SROs have been problematic.
The problem is we use we put a blanket policy over everyone, right? If one thing happens, and it's tragic, and most of the times if those tragic things are happening, we're screaming, this is bad, this is not good. Make sure you come and to get trained appropriately.
Officers and police leaders here are getting a lot of training about picking the right people for the job and making sure they know how to do it.
Not every police officer fits the mold of a school resource officer. So we encourage and we have recommended practices on how do we select those individuals. And then we want to make sure that we specifically train them in the role of a school resource officer, working with adolescent brain, working with special education, diversity, de-escalation.
A major theme here this week is to educate the public about what an SRO is supposed to do.
Oftentimes people think that our mission is to go in and arrest students. In reality, our goal is to not arrest. We don't want to be arresting kids. We know that there's trauma that is involved with arresting our kids.
Recruitment is also an issue here. Shoaf told us that it's a problem with all enforcement jobs, but he does say that they hear anecdotally that a lot of people drawn to the law enforcement job say they got the idea because of the relationship they had with the school resource officer.
And one thing you want to know about the weather are the stats for today. We're going for a high of 91 degrees, normal high for this time of year, 89 degrees, the record 101 in 1989. The normal low is 58, the record 43 from 1972.